Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Light Novel Summary, right here on AniMonolith. Today's spotlight, the green numbers led by the Master Swordsman, Hakurou. While other battlefronts were already raging, Hakurou and his 12,000 green numbers took a 40-kilometer detour through the Dwarven Kingdom to cut off the Imperial Army's supply line. The trip? Brutal. And to make it worse, Hakurou made them carry heavy gear the whole way as training. Everyone except Hakurou was gasping for air like fish out of water. But thanks to his merciless training, they had all mastered high-level combat techniques like instant move and form hide, methods that let them vanish from enemy senses and reappear in the blink of an eye. With a gentle smile, Hakurou praised their flexibility. Everyone froze in fear. If Hakurou was smiling, something terrifying was probably coming next. Hakurou summarized that the mission this time was to block the enemy's reinforcements. It might not seem flashy, but severing the supply lines would drain enemy morale and possibly lure out the Empire's elite warriors. Hakurou emphasized, "Only kill when necessary." He spoke of Gobta, who had selflessly risked his life acting as bait. His words stirred the hearts of the soldiers. None wanted to bring shame to the name of the green numbers. Through Hakurou's sky eyes and the shared telepathy net, they witnessed the desperate struggles of Gobta's Lang Bin division. Everyone silently vowed to overcome their fear and succeed in their mission. And then, it came. Rimuru's command echoed across the battlefield. "No mercy! Use your full power, destroy the enemy!" The soldiers' hesitation vanished. Magicules surged through their bodies. Even Hakurou smiled. The limiters were off. Minutes later, the green numbers surged forward like a tidal wave. The Empire's reinforcements crumbled. Most were supply troops, unused to combat. Their rifles, their magic, none of it made a difference. They were overwhelmed. From above, Ultima's Wyvern division dropped flaming crystal bombs, flare gems, turning the battlefield into a blood-soaked furnace. Explosion after explosion. Blood dyed the land red. The Imperial reinforcements were being slaughtered. "Excuse me, Hakuru-san tilde?" Ultima appeared, acting sweet and harmless. "Mind if I leave the cleanup to you?" Despite her cute demeanor, everyone knew. Ultima was the cruelest of the primordial demons, and the best at playing innocent. Hakurou smiled kindly, playing the role of the wise old man. "Of course, Miss Ultima. I'll handle it." Ultima giggled. "Yay, Tilda. Then it's all yours." Ultima acted like a spoiled granddaughter, all cute and pleading. If Veyron or Zonda saw her, they would probably think that they were dreaming. Curious, Hakurou asked about Agera, a subordinate of Carrera. Ultima's tone shifted, still smiling, but now laced with killing intent. She clearly didn't want to talk about that guy. Hakurou suspected something odd. Agera looked exactly like his own grandfather and former master, Byakuya Araki. He asked gently, but Ultima shrugged him off. "If you're that curious, just ask him yourself," she said before flying off again like it was no big deal. Hakurou watched her go, sword in hand. "My personal business can wait. There's still a battle to finish." With that, the old master leapt back into the fray. At this point in the battle, the skies themselves are trembling. After parting ways on the battlefield, Ultima took off into the air. Above, in the command airship of the Imperial Air Force, Major General Faraj was paralyzed by shock. His supposedly invincible floating fortresses, each protected by powerful magical barriers and elite mage crews, were being taken down effortlessly. In disbelief, Faraj gathered reports from his subordinates. The culprits? A rare race known as Dragonauts. More precisely, their leader, whose magicule levels were off the charts, had 10 times the energy of any of his companions. Faraj immediately ordered a counterattack. Out of the 30 airships he'd initially deployed, only 20 remained, and all were now under siege by the Dragonauts. With things spiraling out of control, he devised a cold-blooded plan. Sacrifice the remaining airships and take the enemy down with them. Use the Empire's top-secret magic canceller radiation. These beams disrupt the magicules monsters rely on, and the airships themselves. Without magic, the airships would plummet. He gave the order. 70 airships activated the magic disruptors. In an instant, Dragonauts and airships alike began crashing to the ground. Faraj watched closely. Amid the chaos, the Dragonaut leader was still alive, but wounded, his flight impaired. This stunned Faraj. In his mind, only one being could survive such a magic onslaught. It has to be Veldora. He convinced himself that this mysterious monster wasn't a Dragonaut named Gabiru, as intelligence suggested, but a weakened storm dragon Veldora using a false identity while recovering from his seal. Only Veldora could wield that level of power. Even when an aide pointed out the target was named Gabiru, Faraj scoffed, "Clearly a fake name. He's hiding his identity until he regains full strength." Deluded but determined, Faraj's ambition ignited Dodd. Thinking that destroying Veldora would bring glory to the Empire's air force, Faraj revealed a sinister smile. He ordered his ships to maintain a radiation bombardment, aimed directly at Gabiru. The goal, not just to immobilize him, but to slowly, painfully disintegrate him. As the Imperial Army's Air Assault Division toasted what they believed to be certain victory, Major General Faraga stood atop his command airship, confident, boastful, and ready to savor the fall of Veldora. The sky around them burned with the fallout of their attack. Their prized secret weapon, the Magic Canceller, had brought even the mighty Dragonauts to their knees, and among them, Faraga was convinced, was none other than the legendary Veldora Tempest, weakened and disguised. The trap was set. Victory, he believed, was inevitable. Let's bring out the wine. Get that vintage 400-year-old bottle from the collection. It's a dreamy escape to celebrate avenging the humiliation of the Empire. Within an hour, the sediments will have settled in the bottle. "Oh, can I have some as well?" Then, without warning, she appeared. A petite girl with bluish-purple hair tied in a side ponytail, sitting calmly in a seat beside him like she'd always belonged there. No alarms were tripped. No guards intercepted her. "Excuse me," she said sweetly. "Do you have tea? I've been observing you for so long I've gotten a little parched." Her presence was casual, even playful, but the oppressive pressure she exuded was suffocating. Faraga immediately sensed it. This girl wasn't human. She was something far more dangerous. "Who are you?" "Ultima, loyal subordinate of Rimuru-sama." "Rimuru? No, you're here for Veldora, aren't you?" "Veldora? Oh no. I'm just here to ask a few questions." Faraga didn't believe a word. Everything about this screamed danger. Even as Ultima sat harmlessly smiling, Faraga secretly gave the signal. Activate the Magic Canceller, disabling all spells, rendering demons and monsters inert. At the same time, he pulled out a Colt M1911. It was an antique brought by an Otherworlder and was Faraj's favorite item, which he carefully maintained every day and emptied a full clip into her. Ultima raised her hand. 8 bullets, 8 soft clinks as they fell harmlessly to the floor. What a fun toy. However, I prefer Rimuru-sama's. Faraga drew his sword, the Imperial Magic Saber, infused with his personal energy to bypass the anti-magic field. He lunged, targeting her heart with a strike fast enough to kill most Magians in one blow. His blade pierced empty air. Ultima was now behind him. "You don't want to talk? That's fine. I can get the answers my own way." Faraga turned, just in time to see a severed head fly past him. Ultima didn't fight, she executed. One by one, she dismantled the bridge crew with horrific precision, ripping through soldiers, snapping necks, detonating bodies from within. "So," she asked sweetly, "how does the Magic Canceller really work?" Faraga, now shaking, ordered every nearby ship to fire on their own flagship if necessary. He yelled for the Magic Cancellers to go into full overdrive. But Ultima simply explained, "You built this to target creatures made of magicules. I'm not. I'm an incarnated demon. Your little toys don't work on me." As if to punctuate her point, she flicked a finger and vaporized another officer's head. Panic broke out on the bridge. Screams filled the air as Ultima began dismantling the crew, literally. She plucked answers from their minds like files from a drawer. She mocked the effectiveness of the Magic Canceller, explaining that while it worked on monsters, it had no effect on incarnated demons like her. Cornered, Faraga used his final move, a high-level summoning spell backed by 50 elite mages and the ship's magic-enhancing cannons. He summoned Ifrit, a greater fire spirit. It exploded onto the bridge, roaring flames, raw power, elemental fury incarnate. Even demons feared greater spirits, but Ultima, she smiled. "Too bad for you." With no chant, no spell circle, no warning, she unleashed the forbidden elemental spell, Frozen Hell. Ifrit froze instantly, then shattered. A hush fell over the ship, and with that, hope died. Ultima took her time, casually extracting the information she wanted. How the airships flew, how the Magic Cancellers worked, what military strength the Empire had left. She didn't torture, she extracted, by mentally dissecting the minds of those left alive. Finally, only one soul remained, Faraga. She looked down at him, trembling, bleeding, broken. "You called me a fool, didn't you? Let me show you what a real fool fears. She raised a hand. A fist-sized black flame formed in her palm. Abyss core, an uncontrollable hellfire created after casting a specific chain of spells. The ultimate magic said to lie beyond the grasp of human hands. A spell only 3 of humanity's greatest heroes had ever barely contained together. Ultima tossed it playfully like a softball. Bye-bye! The flagship was obliterated instantly. The nuclear flame expanded outward, consuming every nearby airship. One detonation became many. Shockwaves and black fire incinerated the sky. The Empire's air assault division, once their greatest trump card, was now ash. All it took was one demon. Ultima flew off, humming a tune. Mission complete. Back in the flames, Major General Faraga's final thought? So, this is true magic. How beautiful. And then he burned. Body, mind, and soul erased by the wrath of Rimuru's most cheerful executioner. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and catch us in the next episode of AniMonolith.